The following is a reading from my book, Ave Gratia Plena, on painting after postmodernism by Benjamin Patterson. Painting was once upon a time the paragon of the fine arts. For centuries, the masters of this craft were no mere craftsmen, but heirs of a noble patrimony. Painters stood in the lineage of miracle workers, less human than divine, so Giorgio Vasari tells us, artists bearing the names of archangels, and the hardy lion of St. Mark, who had shown the world such wonders as mankind had never seen before. The story of that generation reads like a fairy tale, and if not for what survives of their art, Vasari might well be mistaken for a writer of fiction. What one encounters in the masterpieces of the Italian Renaissance, if one has eyes to see, is not a simulacrum, but an impossible immediacy, not a sign pointing only at other signs, but real presence. To be in Raphael's Stanza della Segnatura is to find oneself transported up Mount Parnassus in the company of wisdom's pantheon. To stand where Michelangelo stood, beneath his Sistine ceiling and before his Last Judgment, is like stumbling upon an enchanted garden that ever was, and a kingdom that ever shall be. Mere mortals live in medias res, between some long-lost beginning and an end that never seems to arrive. The artist of the Renaissance painted as if in the beginning and at the end. He mastered not only paint but history and won his immortality. Today, the life of a typical painter has more in common with the humble lot of an itinerant limner, the colonial portraitist who plied his trade from door to door in modest anonymity, a turn of fortune belied by a booming art market and celebrities whose reputations outpace the significance of their art. The painter's upward mobility from artisan to artist was destined to regress to the mean in modernity, as his talent steadily depreciated in competition with more efficient means of making and disseminating images. The painter's trade narrowly survived its obsolescence, but the institutions which secured painting's place among the liberal arts did not. Unimpeded by barriers in the mold of the French Academy and the Paris Salon, more people are painting now than ever before, while fewer than ever do so with the understanding and ambition of Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres or Eugène Delacroix. To be a painter now is to labor in the shadow of great art, and to be inspired by artists whose stature one may not rival, no matter how talented an artist may be. As Alexis de Tocqueville writes of painting and sculpture in Democracy in America, in aristocracies a few great pictures are produced. In democratic countries, a vast number of insignificant ones. In the former, statues are raised of bronze. In the latter, they are modeled in plaster. Despite the reduced circumstances of the painter's vocation, the call to take up a brush and palette has not entirely lost its shine. The pleasure of mastering a craft is its own reward, absent the ancillary rewards of fame and fortune which were once on offer. There may even be some enduring creative potential in the ancestral craft, sufficient to create new masterpieces of a caliber to rival what has come before. Seduced by painting's timeless allure, a new generation of painters is rising to meet this challenge, facilitated by the Atelier movement, which has already made much progress in recovering the kind of art education which the academies used to teach. Against all odds, the art of painting seems determined to be reborn, and if fortune smiles, there may already be a child among the bulrushes. To go about pretending to be Michelangelo is a quixotic project reminiscent of tilting at windmills, though there is a method to the madness. Vasari recounts how Giotto di Bondone once earned himself a papal commission by drawing a perfect circle freehand, as if to suggest that he were the great Apelles, renowned in antiquity for the subtlety of his line. Francesco Petrarca did something of the kind as well, when he had himself crowned a poet laureate, as if he were the poet Horace, or had lived in the days of Caesar Augustus. Even Michelangelo himself began his career in the making of virtuous forgeries. Every new beginning is a pantomime, the painter of ambition greedy for honor, must dare to play the fool by pretending to be what he is not.